At Christmas, my mom showed our old photo albums to my fiancé. He froze, grabbed my hand, and whispered, "Don't you see it?" "See what?" "How can you not see it?" He showed me, and I couldn't unsee it. 5 hours later, I called the police. I always thought if something like this ever happened, something life-upending, something worth telling a therapist or a documentary crew, it would come with music. You know, a low hum, cinematic tension, maybe a thunderclap. But no, there was potato salad. Overcooked lamb. My mom humming Mariah Carey while wiping the counter like she hadn't just weaponized nostalgia for the 20th year running. No thunder, just the house's usual holiday smell, lemon cleaner and something vaguely burnt. I wasn't expecting anything. That's the thing. I walked in like always, smiled like always, pretended this wasn't another annual reminder I never quite fit into the frame. Lucas, my fiancé, was calm as ever, observant, quiet, the kind of man who could make a living just by noticing things. I brought him because I thought he'd anchor me. Joke's on me. My sister-in-law was already there, swirling her wine, wearing something beige and expensive looking. Her boyfriend nodded a lot. My parents smiled like they meant it. Dinner was dinner, familiar, tight-lipped, tense. The roast was dry. The raita was sharp. My mom asked Na about her new job. My dad asked Lucas about computers like he'd never met a millennial before. No one asked me anything. Standard. I used to get upset. Now I just count how long it takes before they pretend I'm not there. This year, 9 minutes. After dessert, Mom clapped and said, "I brought the albums out," like it was a surprise and not something she choreographs every year. She always brings the albums. Always pretends she just found them under a pile of dish towels. We all smile like we haven't seen the same stained pages 100 times. Na leaned in like it was an award show. Her boyfriend put on his best interested face. Lucas sat beside me, quiet. I watched him more than the pictures. First album, birthdays, beach trips, awkward school photos. Second album, Na as a baby, mom glowing, dad proud. Third album, me. That's when Lucas changed. He didn't say anything, but I saw it, shoulders tensing, eyes squinting, head tilting the same way he does when retouching a photo and spots a bad crop. He was scanning, measuring. Then, without looking at me, he grabbed my hand under the table. "Don't you see it?" he whispered. I blinked. "See what?" "How can you not see it?" Then he dropped my hand, flipping pages again, smiling at my mom's commentary about how I once tried to feed a pine cone to a stray cat. I sat frozen. Ears ringing. I tried to keep pace, keep smiling, but it felt like my skin was on backward. When I leaned in and asked him again, he shook his head slightly. "I'll explain later," he said. "Just go along with it." Which is, honestly, the emotional motto of my entire childhood. We left 20 minutes later. Lucas made up something about a flight, or maybe a Zoom call. My mom fussed. My dad didn't care. Na didn't look up from her phone. I kissed everyone goodbye like I wasn't unraveling inside. In the car, Lucas pulled a few loose photos from his coat. Must have taken them from beside the albums, I hadn't even noticed. "Look," he said. I did. Kind of. The first one was me in a pink coat in front of a stone wall. I'd seen it before, it lived in my memory like bad wallpaper. "What?" I said. "It's just a photo." He handed me 2 more. "Same face," he said. "Same angle, same smile, same shadows." "Look closer." I looked, and then I saw it. It was me, the exact same version of me, copy-pasted into different settings, one in front of a fence, one by a swing set, one at a fountain, but the expression never changed. Not one muscle. "They reused my face," I said, my voice strange, like it came from the back of my throat. He nodded. Then handed me another, a baby, pale, lighter hair, different bone structure. "That's not you," he said. I don't think they ever had baby pictures of you. Last one. He handed me another, me, Mom, and Dad in front of some old building. My outline was fuzzy, the shadows didn't match. I looked like a sticker someone forgot to finish peeling. I stared at it a long time. Then I laughed, not a real laugh, but the sound you make when something breaks in your head. So I'm a collage, I said. That's fun. Lucas didn't laugh. Why would they fake this? I asked. He didn't answer. Neither did I. I didn't know it yet, but 5 hours later I'd call the police. Denial doesn't shatter, it leaks, like an old pipe under the sink everyone agrees not to mention. You hear the drip, smell the damp, but keep washing your hands and walking away. I stared at those photos all night. Lucas eventually fell asleep beside me, but I didn't move, just sat there like a kid waiting for monsters, except the monsters had names, Mom and Dad. The photos sat on my nightstand. I kept checking them like they'd fix themselves while I wasn't looking. They didn't. My face was still there, pasted, duplicated, frozen in a preset expression I didn't remember making. That baby still wasn't me. The lighting was still off. Then it hit, not as a scream, but a whisper I couldn't unhear. I had no idea where I came from. Literally. I had no memories before age 5. None. When I was younger, I thought maybe that was normal. Or at least explainable. My parents blamed the war. You were little, they said. You were traumatized. They said the brain protects itself. They said a lot. And I believed them. What was the alternative? Telling your second-grade teacher you think you skipped being a toddler? That your earliest memory is a fluorescent-lit hallway in a new country, your mom telling you to smile at someone with a clipboard? That was my first real memory, the immigration office. The buzzing lights. Everything cold and wrong. I didn't know English yet, but I understood my mother's eyes, perform. From there, things got normal. We had a little apartment. I started school. My mom packed lunches like other moms, except no notes, just perfectly folded napkins. My dad read the paper like it owed him something. They worked. They provided. But love? That was a different story. When my sister Na was born 2 years later, the air in the house changed overnight. Suddenly there were baby books, camcorder footage, glittery scrapbooks. Birthday parties with themes. Spa days. Hugs. Warmth. None of that had been there for me. With me, it was always, you're strong. You're independent. You never needed much. Which is just another way of saying, we didn't give you much. I used to excuse it, tell myself it was because I was older, the first, they were figuring it out. But now? I wasn't so sure. No aunts. No uncles. No cousins. No visitors from the old country. No return trips. We have no one left, my parents said. It was war. Everyone is scattered. I asked about family once. My dad, it's complicated. My mom changed the subject. Then there was the Facebook message. I was 15. Walked into the kitchen. She was staring at the laptop. A message in Serbian. A woman's name I didn't know. The message had hearts. My mom's face was blank. She deleted it, blocked the sender, closed the laptop. Who was that? I asked. Spam, she said. Spam doesn't make your hands shake. But I let it go, like I always did. I was diagnosed with PTSD at 17. Nightmares. Panic attacks. A constant fear, like I was waiting for a door to slam that never did. My therapist asked about the war. I told her I didn't remember it. She said that was probably why. But now I know I wasn't scared of war. I was scared of her. I didn't remember that right away. It didn't come all at once. It came in fragments. That night, at the kitchen table with the photos, a memory blinked on, like a flashlight in a pitch-black room. A woman, not my mother. Softer face, dark eyes. Citrus-scented. I was holding her hand. Then another woman, not the one who raised me. Gentler voice, kind hands. I was holding her hand. Then the woman I grew up calling Mom walked in. She was younger, smiling like she'd just arrived. The first woman leaned down and said, in Serbian, "This is your babysitter." That was the first time I met her. Then another flash, me pulling on a coat, crying. "I want Mama." A hand on my shoulder, tight. "Don't say that again. If you talk about her, you disappear." I remember those words now. I didn't before. They were buried under years of being told to smile for the camera. And then the screaming. I was in a bed, knew a war zone? That your mother handed you over barefoot in the snow? You wouldn't have understood. I would have understood now, I said. Silence stretched. My dad sat down, elbows on his knees like the weight was finally catching up to him. She was a friend, he said. Your birth mother. She lived in our building. Her husband was gone. She had no one. When we got the visa to leave, she begged us to take you. We said no at first. We didn't want a child. But then. She got sick, my mom said quietly. She said she didn't have long. That she'd rather you be safe than watch you starve with her. She kissed you goodbye, my dad added. Said not to tell you until you were old enough. But then we got here, my mom said, and it didn't feel safe to open that box. So we kept pushing it further away. 1 year. Then another. Then we built this story, and once we started, how do you take it back? You don't, Lucas said coldly. You don't fake a child's entire life to avoid a hard conversation. I sat perfectly still. What was her name? I asked. They looked at each other. Yelena, my mom said. I tried the name silently. It felt both foreign and familiar, like a melody I almost remembered. Do you have anything of hers? My mom hesitated, then reached into her purse. She pulled out a thin envelope, yellowed with age. Inside was a photo, creased, faded, real. A woman holding a toddler in front of a graffitied wall. The woman had dark hair, deep eyes. She was smiling. I was looking up at her, mid-laugh. It was the first photo that felt like me. She made us promise never to forget her, my mom whispered. And then we did anyway. I didn't cry. I should have, maybe. But I felt like I'd already cried for her 1,000 times without knowing who she was. Lucas put a hand on my back. This time I didn't flinch. She could still be alive, I said. We don't know, my dad replied. We tried to look once, years ago. Everything was gone. The building, the records, neighbors, it was like she vanished. But she didn't vanish, I said. You did. They didn't argue. Airport. I hadn't told my parents I was going. I didn't owe them that. Mara stood a little behind the crowd, holding a faded photo in her hand, the same one she'd shown me on the call. I recognized it immediately, me, laughing, her arms around me, the graffiti wall. When she saw me, her whole body went still. Then she walked forward, slow like she was afraid I might disappear. I didn't cry. Neither did she. We just stood there, absorbing the shock of real contact. Her hand reached out, hovered, then gently touched my cheek like she was asking permission with her fingertips. You're taller than I imagined, she said. You're softer, I replied, though I didn't know what I meant until I said it. We sat at a cafe near the airport. She had coffee, I had tea I didn't touch. We talked, halting, slow, careful. She showed me more photos. Told me about the dog I used to love. My favorite pajamas. The lullaby she sang every night. Each detail was a needle threading through the hollow parts of me, stitching something back together. You used to draw, she said. All over the walls. I saved one of your scribbles, it's faded, but I couldn't paint over it. I smiled, barely. They always said I wasn't artistic. She shook her head. They didn't know you. That's what broke me. Not the loss, not the lies, just the simple truth that someone, once, had known me. I stayed a week. Mara showed me her life, her garden, her tiny apartment full of warm colors and books in every room. We didn't try to make up for lost time, we just held what we had. She never asked me to stay. She didn't need to. I told her I'd be back. I meant it. When I returned home, my parents were waiting. I don't know how they knew, but they did. My mom opened the door, eyes puffy. My dad stood behind her like a shadow. Where did you go? She asked. Where I came from, I said. They didn't follow me when I walked away. Precinct. She wore a navy coat. I brought the photos. The officer took our statements, asked questions I barely remember. My real mom unfolded a creased flyer from her purse, the original missing person notice. My name was the first one under a grainy photo, Melina Petrovic, age 5, last seen wearing a red scarf. This is her, she told the officer. This is my daughter. And for the first time, someone else nodded. We pressed charges. I stopped pretending the past was something I owed to anyone but myself. It didn't go to trial, they were found guilty during the investigation, immigration fraud, falsifying federal documents, concealing a child abduction across international borders. Turns out they never gave up their Serbian passports, just tucked them away in a drawer beside their moral compass. Their American citizenship was revoked. They were deported within 6 months, no appeals, no second chances. They can't come back. Na stayed, of course, she was born here. At first, she just stared at the floor a lot. Then one day she came over and said, that was really messed up. Not an apology, but something. We talk more now than we ever did growing up. She's not my sister by blood, but she still knows how I take my coffee, and that counts. Maya, my real mother, moved to the US 6 months later under the family reunification program. Lucas and I helped with the paperwork. She got a job at a bakery near our apartment. Says it reminds her of the one she worked at when she was 21, before everything happened. We're planning the wedding. She's on the guest list. She cried when she got the invitation. The people who raised me lost everything. They built their life on a lie, so when it collapsed, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. So, was it justice, or just vengeance dressed up pretty? I'm still not sure. But I sleep soundly now, and that has to count for something. What do _you_think? Drop your thoughts below.